What is good, guys? Welcome back to the Benefit Podcast, bringing you everything you need to know about living your best life. And this is a common theme amongst many of us who live pretty busy, pretty chaotic lives. And certainly if you've got children, you will know this all too well. You've got work to sort out, you've got home life, you've got the kids to deal with, you're trying to do your own stuff. Life is pretty manic and it's pretty full on. But you know what you can do in those situations? Lean into that chaos. And what I mean by this, like what I often find in these situations where life is absolutely mental, it's more and more important to focus on what needs to be done in that moment. It's more important to organize your time as such. You know, for me right now, I'm in photo shoot prep mode. I've been in it for a few weeks now. You know, there's lots going on in life. My parents are staying with us. Like, there's lots and lots of busyness. We've got birthdays coming up. We've got anniversaries coming up. I'm busy with work. Lara's busy with work. We're trying to run a house. We've got Louis to sort out and deal with and do all the necessary things that kids require. And so each day, everything has to be quite regimented. And I use that as an opportunity. The chaos that life is bringing right now is a real opportunity to just make sure that things are in place. Look, unexpected stuff is going to crop up. We know that. You can't plan for it. It just happens. Like, there's nothing to say that Louis is going to get sick. He's going to hurt himself. Whatever might happen, we're going to have to dash off and we're going to have to change that. But there's a lot that we can do to still manage our environment and make sure that doesn't completely derail us. And when the weeks are more normal, even if they're busy and chaotic, the more focused, the more structured, the more regimented you are with things, it will make a huge difference. For me at the moment, that means I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning most days of the week. That is either to go to the gym, that happens 5 days a week, or if Lara's in the office, I'm getting up with her at 5, half 5, because we try and sort ourselves out. We try and leave Louis to sleep as late as possible before we have to get him up, get him ready quickly. I then drive Lara to the station. I come back, do all the Louis stuff, drop him off, and then the working day can begin. So I either gym 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm back ready to help out with all the morning routines, getting Louis sorted, feeding him, etc., getting him to the childminders, or if Lara's in the office, again, there's a lot to do in the mornings. So I don't necessarily want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If I don't, I'm probably not going to get to the gym, because once everything's sorted in the morning and Louis dropped where he needs to be, my working day begins. Work is busy. There's lots to be doing. Lara's the same. We do what we need to do in those moments. We get done what we need to get done. And then, you know, we're picking him up, and then it's evening routine starts. We want to spend some time with him. We want to play with him for a bit. We get him fed. We get him bathed. We get him into bed. Then it's our turn to get our dinner all sorted and get that in a good place. And by the time we're then sitting down, you know, it's 8, half 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. So everything in life needs to be pretty regimented right now to make sure that stuff's getting done. You know, I'm getting my cardio done within my gym session at the moment. Again, is it necessarily the most optimal way to do that? Maybe not, but it's more optimal for me to get it done in that session than trying to do it all in separate sessions when it's probably going to not get done. So again, it's managing life. It's not always about doing like the most optimal thing. It's about making sure that what gets done, what needs to happen, happens. You know, my steps, I'll try and do, you know, them, I'll sort of take a little bit of a lunch break, if you like. So I'll quickly cook and eat my lunch, and then I'll try and go out for a walk, and that gets the rest of my steps done that I need to do. If that doesn't happen, if I can't do that for any reason, if the weather's horrendous, I've got my walk pad down there, so my steps are going to get done. It's always about making sure we're doing the necessary things, and sometimes life being chaotic can actually feed into that, because you just don't have the time to procrastinate. You don't have the luxury of being able to pick and choose when you do things. You're forced to do things in those moments because that is the time you have to do them. And so I think sometimes people, you know, they wait around, they don't commit. Life is busy at the moment, so this isn't the right time for me. There's lots going on. That's always going to be the case. You know, I'm not saying that there isn't sometimes bad times or wrong times to take something else on. Like if you are genuinely absolutely at max capacity, is that the right time to do stuff? Maybe not. I would probably also challenge someone to say, like, what does max capacity look like right now? And actually, you having that something for you might actually make you more efficient in other areas. But that's a slightly separate topic. That's something that, may need a separate conversation. But if you are just sort of thinking life is busy at the moment, it's pretty crazy, there's a lot going on, so I don't matter, my goals aren't important at the moment, there's probably a slightly bigger issue with that. Because if you're telling yourself you're not important, if you're telling yourself your goals don't matter, of course you're not going to do what needs to get done. But also don't sort of think that it needs this massive life overhaul either. If you're at a position at the moment, life's crazy, you're not really doing a huge amount, even just dripping in some little things will make a big difference. Trying to carve out half an hour to work out at home 3 days a week, most people probably could do that. Because if at the moment, your lunch break, you're sitting around watching TV for half an hour when you work from home, could you go out and have a walk at lunchtime if you're office rather than sitting at the desk of an evening? Like, could you do a little bit of something rather than sitting for 3 hours in front of the TV? Like, there's stuff that can happen. And, I'm not sitting here saying one of these we've all got the same 24 hours in the day type of conversations. I know different people's lives are different. I know I spoke in a couple of podcasts ago about shifting balance and how balance in life does mean different things at different times. If you haven't had a listen to that one, hop back and have a little listen, because I think it's quite an eye-opening one. But all of this stuff, it works together, and it's about moving forward. It's about just putting one foot in front of the other. And sometimes that's slow and steady. Sometimes that's dripping in a little bit at a time. Sometimes it is about a bit of a bigger change. Sometimes it is about really encouraging a person to think about what they're doing with their life, with their time. Because sometimes when we are encouraged to do that, and when we do sit down and think, actually, I'm not really spending my time all that wisely, then you have the opportunity to change that. And you have the opportunity to put things in place to improve and to get better. So yeah, just sort of take that on board, I guess. Like, think about leaning into chaos. Don't necessarily think that being busy means you can't do, because most of the time, if we want something bad enough, we are going to lean into it. We are going to make it happen. We are going to find the time, the energy, etc. And if you've got any questions, as always, give me a shout. At Ben Howard Fitness on all the socials. ben@benhowardfitness.com is the email address. Like, subscribe, share, support, comment, do all of that good stuff that means that these podcasts reach more and more and more people. And I will be forever grateful for your support. But I'll be back very soon with another one. Have an amazing rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend. And I'll catch up with everyone again really soon.